we're going to talk a little bit about some books you should read. Uh, we do have a sponsor for this segment, and that's going to be Global Comics. So we'll talk a little bit about that when we get a chance to. But in the meantime, we're going to do ourselves a nice little spotlight. All right, it's time for a spotlight. We're going to be looking at 10 awesome Batman Elseworld stories that you should read. I would say they're just as good as Absolute Batman. And what's really cool is that all of these books, you can find them on Global Comics. Global Comics, like I said before, is sponsoring this segment. I want to give thanks to the guys at Global Comics. I had a conversation with them, and we do have a promo code for you guys, so you can read Absolute Batman as well as over 100,000 comics, which includes manga, webtoons. Fresh drops happen on a weekly basis. For $59.99, you get a gold membership, and that's $59.99 for the year. You also get, I believe, a 7-day trial period, so you could give it a shot. And if you utilize my promo code IzzyVerse, that's how you get it from $69.99 to $5.99. Do you have a Global Comics subscription, Cliff?
Of course I do.
What's your thoughts on Global Comics, bro?
I think they're great.
I love them. I love being able to get a chance to read comic books, right? And every so often I do read it. So you get to read some good old stuff. If you have a gold package, you can get some books, exclusive books that are part of it as well. They do have Marvel, DC, Image, IDW. They have a lot of them. Yeah, I got 35 minutes and I gotta go watch Mexico. That's right. Am I lying? Try it for yourself. I can barely afford to live. All right. So again, guys, thank you guys for Global Comics for sponsoring this piece. We really do appreciate it. Let's get on to the books that we're going to go talk about. Starting with the first Elseworld book, and that is Batman Gotham by Gotham by Gaslight. This is the very first Elseworld story.
Period. Yes,
it's the period. It's a period. It's a Victorian-era Gotham City where Batman faces one of his most infamous serial killers, Jack the Ripper. This was also adapted into an animated series, which I liked a lot. I actually did like it. No, movie. I said
right.
series.
I was
movie.
gonna say, wait a second.
Yeah, it was a movie. Written by Brian Austin, but more importantly, art by Mike Mignola. Done. And then I found out that P. Craig Russell did the inking, which is even more awesome to know. I didn't know he did inking. I love his work as a penciler already. And as you can see here, there is a QR code if you want to scan to read the story. Some of these are part of Gold. Some of these are not. If it's not part of Gold, then with a Gold membership, you're able to get a reduced price for this book. But if it's in the Gold package, you'll be able to read it on Gold. So what's your thoughts on Gotham by Gaslight?
Gotham by Gaslight is great. It's simple. It's one book, right? It's Batman versus Jack the Ripper. I love it. You know, what is it? Victorian era, right?
Victorian era.
Yeah, Victorian era Batman versus freaking Jack the Ripper. I'm not always crazy about Mike Mignola's art, but it works.
Oh, it works
incredibly
so well here, man.
So like this was one of those. Like, I love all his work on Hellboy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love all his DC work, but this is one where it absolutely shine. And yes, the colorist contributes a lot to the story. They're a great team on bringing the story to the page.
Yeah. I personally love it. It was a story I read years ago, probably back in 1989 is when I read it. I love this take on Batman, and it was the start of many Elseworlds books that's to follow because it was the first. And when you look at Elseworlds, you really are looking at what if we put Batman in a certain setting? What if we put these characters in a certain setting? Batman was the big part of the Elseworld series, but there were some other ones as well. However, Batman had far many more Elseworld stories, and this is the first one. This is the one that kicked it all off. I want to see Elseworlds return. I think they should be an imprint. For example, I think the Batman movie, the current Batman movie, I think that should be considered an Elseworlds movie because that's what it is. You know what I mean? I think they should label it. I'm not.
I'm in agreement. There's people who've argued with me that that's nonsense and whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I really think it should just have an Elseworlds label and be like Elseworlds Batman, and like that could take place in its own thing. Honest to God, they're just talking a lot of smack. They're like, oh, this, that, the other thing. I'm tired. Focus on a Batman film for your DCU. I don't give a damn. I'm sorry. There's whatever the hell's going on over there. I'm real sorry about it. Make a DCU Batman movie.
Well, there's discussion. They say they have an actor in mind already, but they haven't revealed it.
Get it done, because y'all are. This is a bad game to be playing.
Anyway, that's the first book we'll look at. Let's go to our next book here in our list here, and that's going to go to Batman and Dracula, Red Brain. This is the start of really I believe it was
a trilogy
of stories where Batman is a vampire. So Kelly Jones, this is prime Kelly Jones. This is where you get the biggest bat ears, man. Originally came out in 1992. Dud Money, but Kelly Jones is the star of the show to me, in my personal opinion. I think this is where he excels. It is awesome. Red Brain's the first one. You got Holy Terra. What's the last one? I'm trying to remember the name of the last one. If you remember what's the name of the last one, maybe Mark might remember it.
I sent it to you.
So it's Red Rain, Holy Terra, but I can't remember what's the last one within the Red Rain.
I know. Bloodstorm.
Yeah, Bloodstorm. Dude, it's horrific. It's bloody. It's Batman as a vampire. What more do you want?
And then they keep bringing this Bats back, you know?
Yeah, he always seems to make his triumphant return in some way because people love it. You know what I mean? You could kick and eat. Feel good through the bat ear. Yeah, but I personally love how Kelly Jones does Batman, because again, it's not just the bat ears, it's also how he does the cape as well. He makes the cape into it's more like a robe than a cape, if you know what I mean, right? And then when he utilizes it to its fullest potential.
Well, I was gonna say it starts becoming more and more tattered as his wings start to become a thing.
Yeah. So that's what I love about the artwork, Kelly Jones's artwork is fantastic. I love Kelly Jones. He's one of my personal favorites when it comes to that. All around, people are buying anything that says Absolute Batman. I'll be honest with you. So it doesn't matter what it is. All right, let's go to our next book. So this is Red Rain. Again, it's part of a trilogy. You can find all the other books as well. All right, our next book here was another fun one that came out in 1992.
Oh, yes.
It's Batman, the Blue, the Gray, and the Bat. This is set in the American Civil War. Bruce Wayne returns home after serving in the Union Army to find Gotham plagued by corruption and divided by chaos. Mounting the mantle of Batman, he wages a personal war against crime while becoming entangled in a conspiracy that reaches from Gotham's elite to the battlefields of the nation. Blending historic events with Batman mythology, this Elseworlds tale often offers a unique Civil War era take on Batman. Look at the inker behind this one. Something about these inkers that are crazy to me. You got Jose Luis Garcia Lopez doing the ink. He's not doing the pencils. Alan Wise is doing the pencils, and he's co-writing the story with Elliot Maggin. So
beautiful.
Batman on the horse.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with Batman on the horse. And it's Civil War period, too.
Well, fresh after the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
So we got room to work with.
Yeah, dude, it's so cool, man. I love looking at this. Batman also with a 6-shooter. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that Batman ain't afraid to kill, but these are different times.
Yeah. Yeah, I reckon.
Look at the colorist, though, for 1992, Digital Chameleon.
Yep, Digital Chameleon did and we'll see Digital Chameleon a couple of times. All right. That will be the Reconstruction period. There you go. Mark dropping in the historical facts. All right, let's go to our next one. Our next one is Batman in Darkest Night. This came out in 1993. When a dying Green Lantern crashes on Earth, the Power Ring chooses Bruce Wayne instead of Hal Jordan. Armed with the ring's incredible abilities, Bruce becomes Gotham's protector while confronting familiar enemies in unexpected ways as the villainous Sinestro exploits Bruce's grief and determination. Batman must prove that his greatest strength isn't the Power Ring, but the will to overcome fear and temptation.
And there's 3 more Green Lanterns at the end of the book. Green Lantern Superman, Green Lantern Flash, Green Lantern Wonder Woman. And then he leaves to go to space, to go to Oa. And like that's where the ending is. He's like, oh, there's 3 protectors here on Earth who have their own powers plus the rings. So he goes to Oa. But yeah, he ends up battling Sinestro. Sinestro ends up like kind of becoming his like a Joker Sinestro hybrid.
Yeah. What was so interesting for me about all this is I look further into the future where we get Sinestro Corps, and in the Sinestro Corps, the yellow ring actually chose Batman, and he had to fight against it. So Batman is considered, he's the creature of the night and all that stuff. I like that they're using willpower here in this story, even though it's long before what Jeff Johns was trying to do with fear and the yellow rings and things like that. So I think the dynamics of having Batman as a Green Lantern is very interesting, and I think it's something that could have been explored a little bit more. Mike Barr did a story. This is a one shot from multiples. I know there's a Superman version of it as well that I didn't touch on this one. I think that one's pretty. From what I understand, that's more of a Superman than the Batman story, but it still falls under Elseworld. In that it's still Elseworld stories. This one specifically, I think it's just interesting how it works. I would like to have seen more of this character, and maybe even like if you look at his mask, I think they could have kept the batty ears, man. Just saying. The point was that he didn't get inspiration from a bat. He got inspiration from, holy cow, I got this ring from another world, and now I can do this. So, kind of like with Superman Red Sun, another great Elseworld stories that I would love to see live action. We got the animated series was fantastic. The live action version of that would be amazing to me.
I don't need that.
I would love it. I don't need it. I would love it. And get Henry Cavill to play Superman. What the hell? Might as well. I'm just saying. I would love it. You would love it if they did it. And you go watch it. You'll watch it. And
I would only love it and go watch it if like all the dominoes fell in order. But instead, all I see at the moment is somebody just took the domino box and dumped them on the table and nothing else.
All right. Moving on to our next one here. And that is Batman and Houdini, the Devil's Workshop. Set at the turn of the 20th century, Batman teams up with the legendary escape artist and illusionist Harry Houdini to investigate a series of mysterious disappearances, murders in Gotham City as the pair uncovers a sinister conspiracy involving dark magic and deception. They must rely on Batman's detective skills and Houdini's knowledge of illusion to stop a deadly enemy before more lives are lost. This was written by Howard Chaykin, and Howard Chaykin wrote quite a few Elseworlds books. So what do you think? What's your thoughts on this one? It's Houdini and Batman. Who would have thought you needed that?
Okay, again, didn't need it, but it's an Elseworld, and it was great.
Yep, it's set in the late 20th century, so not late, early 20th century, so it's right on the turn of the 20th century. So not quite Depression era yet, but we're getting there. And first of all, the artwork by Mark Chiarello is phenomenal in this story. Just when you look at it, it's a lot of these are painted pieces. So that's the nice thing about this. And this is a prime example of a painted piece of work.
And again, a singular book. Mm-hmm. Great read, great time. None of this over the top stuff we have now and multi-issues and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Let's go to our next book in our list. And that goes to Batman Castle of the Bat from 1994, inspired by Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. This Gothic Elseworld reimagines Bruce Wayne as a brilliant scientist determined to conquer death after witnessing the murder of his parents. His obsession leads him to create a powerful artificial being, but the experiment spirals out of control, unleashing a monster that threatens Gotham City. Blending classic horror with Batman's origin, Batman Castle of the Bat explores the consequences of grief, obsession, and playing God. This is written by Jack C. Harris, but art by another amazing painter from his time, Bo Hampton.
Right. I was going to say, you went for another painted story, and it's awesome.
Because this was in the 90s, when we had these Elseworlds, a lot of these were painted, and they're, we talk a lot. We love, Alex Ross is the GOAT. I'm not taking that away from Alex Ross. But there were so many of these guys during this time that people don't give credit to. That came before Alex Ross. You know what I mean? Bo Hampton is one of them. I love these artists. There was something pristine about these books because they were considered prestigious format too. So they were meant to be like beautiful books, great books. Quality paper was fantastic of these books, but as of today, no one really talks about them as much. But
this one is super brilliant.
Yeah,
especially because who is the scientist in this book? do you know the answer?
Bruce. He's the scientist.
Bruce is. And who is it? Who is the monster that Bruce has created?
Yeah.
Whose brain is it?
You tell me now.
Thomas Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to resurrect his father, and it goes.
Doesn't end up well, does it?
No.
All right. Moving on to our next book here. And that goes to one that you personally like, and that's Batgirl and Robin, Thrillkiller from 1996.
Hell yeah. And Batman's mythology is set in a world of the early 1960s with a mix of noir crime fiction, beatnik culture, jazz clubs, and the dawn of counterculture. Written by Howard Chaykin, illustrated by Dan Baritone, which
another great one.
Painting, maybe. Paintings.
And he had a very unique style, too.
Yeah.
His style was very unique. When you see a Dan Bennington, you knew it. Right? Because he did his style, I wouldn't it was beautiful, but it wasn't like elegant. If you know what I'm talking about.
No, it's not elegant, but it works for this storyline so well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because when we're introduced to Thrillkiller, right,
Mm-hmm.
it is through the eyes of Batgirl and Robin first. Bruce is a young Gotham City police detective.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to read all three to see what happens.
Didn't he do DC annuals that year? They were all pulp here. Did Howard Chaykin do the DC annuals during that year? I know there's an Elseworlds year of annuals that we're not going to.
Right, but the Elseworlds years. No, there's the pulp year of annuals might. I don't think they're all by him, but they might be all by him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. I have a lot of these Elseworlds issues. It's what I love collecting. Yeah, Elseworlds is a great, man, because what's so great about the Elseworlds series is the fact that you kind of could do what you want, right? Yeah. You don't have to worry about whether or not it's fitting. It's part of the continuity. You take it to a turn. Obviously, there's certain core themes that you stick to, but that's kind of the brilliance of an Elseworlds story, that you still keep to the core of who the character is. It's putting this character in this setting, and that's what makes the Elseworlds stories good. So let's go to our next one here. Hopefully the font works this time. Yeah. So this one's not exactly an Elseworlds stories, but at this point, the Elseworlds series has already been discontinued, which I don't know why they did that. I hope DC brings back Elseworlds, but Batman White Knight, which was originally published in 2017, I feel like that's actually almost 10 years now. Wow, it's crazy how time flies. After years of battling Batman, the Joker is cured of his insanity and returns to the society as Jack Napier. I love how they use they use this guy's name from the movie. Determined to prove Gotham's Dark Knight has become part of the city's problem, Napier launches a campaign to reform Gotham while exposing the destruction caused by Batman's crusade. As public opinion shifts and Bruce Wayne's methods are questioned, the lines between hero and villain blur in this critically acclaimed reimagining that challenges everything readers know about their iconic rivalry. This may not be this is not an Elseworld story.
Right, but it's not an in continuity story.
It's not in continuity. It eventually becomes a Black Label story. So when you think about Black Label kind of becomes Elseworlds in a weird way. I remember reading this and I was just like floored by how good it was. The art by Sean Murphy is great. I love his style. I also like how he rehabilitated Joker. And in this book, Joker really is a good guy.
Yeah.
Right? And Batman's not a villain, but of course,
right, but Batman
doesn't have a Joker.
Right, Batman's not the villain, but Batman is definitely the antagonist.
Yeah. I love Harley Quinn as well in this story. Harley Quinn does a great job to the point they even gave her own series. And of course, when it comes to the White Knight series, we end up getting more and more as we come. And they even went as far as creating Beyond the White Knight, where we end up getting a future version with Terry McGinnis and things like that. I personally think this is one of the best stories that's come out of the last 10 years as far as alternate versions of Batman. This is what Absolute Batman was in 2017. This would have been the Absolute Batman of 2017. If that's my comparison. This could have been that.
I mean, yeah. No, in many ways it was. I know people who were looking for just this, you know?
Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah.
I mean, it gave us so much. I mean, we got this. We got Curse of the White Knight. White Knight Presents. Introducing Victor Von Fries.
Oh, they milked it. They milked it. They definitely
Batman
milked it.
Beyond White Knight.
They definitely milked it. And I'm sure they'll probably do some more. Right, this story just continues, but Batman White Knight to me is one of my favorite stories. When I read it, I really did enjoy it a lot, you know. And I love the way he did Sean Murphy's concept art with the characters, how he made the costumes. I love Joker's costume when he's the Joker at first. He has the suspenders and all that, and yes. Batman has he has that grizzled beard or something like that. It's a really good take. And you know, Volume 2 is a favorite of Mark's Azrael's, and yeah. So I got to get back to 2. All right. Then we have Batman Dark Ages. This is actually not that old. It came out back in 2024. It's set in an alternate timeline beginning in the 50s. Bruce Wayne's journeys to becoming Batman's unfolds alongside decades of American history as Gotham City changes through social and political upheaval. Bruce confronts corruption, organized crime, and personal tragedy while forging his own path as the Dark Knight. Blending Batman's mythology with real historic events, Batman Dark Age offers a unique and grounded reimagining of the Caped Crusaders' legacy. Written by Mark Russell, art by Mike Aldrin, with colorist Laura Aldrin. This is another one of those takes. If you read Superman Space Age, it does pretty much the same thing, but in this one, it's utilizing Batman with amazing art by Mike Aldrin.
And they do connect.
It's all part of one connecting story. I like his choice of costume. That he almost feels like 1989 Batman to me.
No, I feel like it's this careful blend of 66 and 89 Batman.
Yeah, I think there is that. And again, you have that feels. Of course, it's historic events, so it's blending as if it was in the real world environment of things that happen. And yeah, anything Mike Aldrin does, I usually love. So I don't have a problem with anything he does. Mm-hmm.
No, yeah,
Adam West.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. All right. Here's another fun one, and it's Batman Earth 1. This came out in 2012. Remember when this was a big deal?
Earth 1 was a big deal.
Earth one was big. It was like, again another one, but and I have the books. I have the Batman. I have Batman, Superman, and the Wonder Woman. I have the three of them.
I even have the Titans one.
They were hardcover books, so they were meant to be hardcover. It was Jeff Johns, Gary Frank. This was grounded reimagining of Batman's origin. Bruce Wayne is an inexperienced vigilante, still learning what it takes to become Gotham's protector, guided by a battle-hardened Alfred Pennyworth. He investigates the conspiracy surrounding his parents' murder while confronting corruption at the highest level of the city. Batman Earth 1 presents a more realistic and vulnerable Dark Knight, offering a fresh take on one of comics' greatest heroes. What's interesting about this one, to me, is that it was meant to be it was their answer to an ultimate version of Batman, right? Earth 1 was meant to be the ultimate version. And again, that's why I put it on this list. Not an Elseworld stories, but come on. Again, we utilize the term quite loosely here. It gave us a badass Alfred. It really did. Right? Catwoman, the weirdest Catwoman ever. But all these stories are good. I love the Superman story as well. Very different, but very much the same. He was like a younger Superman. This one was interesting because they did keep a lot of the same themes of Batman, but like we said, Pennyworth is a little more harsh. She's more of that CIA agent style character than he was in previous versions of Batman, and it was. I don't know why it didn't go any further than it did, when it probably should have.
It had a couple of volumes, I think, right?
Yeah, there was a couple of volumes of Earth 1, but there was and Superman and Wonder Woman, but I think it was all because it was all Jeff Johns' work, and it's kind of like when Jeff Johns was out, he was out, this was out. That's how I see. You know, who's to say?
Who is to say?
All right.
But it was interesting.
Yeah. And our last one, which I had to include it there because I had to, Absolute Batman. Year 2024 just came out 2 years ago, set in an absolute universe. Bruce Wayne grows up without the wealth and resources of Wayne family, forcing him to become Batman through grit, intelligence, and relentless determination, facing a dangerous new Gotham shaped by corruption and powerful enemies. This bold reimagining strips Batman to his core while redefining his origin, allies, and rogues for a new generation. I think when the smoke clears, Absolute Batman is going to be one of the biggest things we've had in years. It's at that point already that it's just the price of it alone is huge. And I know your feelings towards it.
I still think the pricing is outrageous. I think it's beyond insane, and like, you know, I can't be everywhere. I can't be everywhere. You know, I'm working these streets. I'm working these streets trying to make sense of this. All right, and I can't. I can't make sense of it.
It's just, I think it's a Batman for a new generation,
and that's fine. And it'll be interesting to see how long that plays out for, or I say
a 5-year period. I honestly think it's going to be a 5-year period.
All right, and then it may just turn back to dust, or it's going to turn into a Miles Morales level thing. I don't know.
It all comes down with Scott Snyder's take, right? So, as I mentioned, with Jeff Johns being so attached to Earth 1, is Scott Snyder so attached to the Absolute Universe that when Scott Snyder finally goes away from it, which there's no signs that he's going to do that anytime soon, when he goes away with it, does he take it with him? That could be the moment.
I mean, I don't know. Also, maybe they're paying him really well to stick around.
So I think he's being groomed to be the next Jim Lee.
Who is Dragotta?
No, I'm thinking Scott Snyder. No, as I'm talking about role in DC, in the DC publishing department.
Does Jeff Johns' old role exist anymore?
No, I think Mark would probably know more than me. I think his role was gone, but he was supposed to be the liaison for the movies and TV, wasn't he, Jeff Johns?
Right. And
That
we
was
saw
kind
you-
of his role. He was like a liaison. No, more than a consultant. I think the liaison, like he's supposed to be the guy, kind of what Tom Key. Tom Key was a consultant, but Jeff John had a job. But there you have it, guys. Again, you could read all these books by downloading the Global Comics app. You can read Absolute Batman as well as 100,000 other comics, manga, and webtoons. They drop weekly. Just for $59.99, you can get a gold membership for 1 full year using promo code IzzyVerse. You'll also get a 7-day trial period. So if you want to give it a shot, give it a shot. All you have to do is scan the QR code. Again, I love reading Global Comics. It's one tool I have on like all my devices. So I'm really happy, and I just want to thank the guys at Global Comics for it. And with that said, that was 10 awesome Batman Elseworlds as well as Absolute Batman.
You left out Leatherwing.
I know. I did that on purpose.
You always leave something out that I really like, including Gang and Wolverine and Hercules. That's my favorite.
You're still with that. You're still with that.
Wolverine and Hercules.
Well, let's talk about Captain Leatherwing for a second. Captain Leatherwing was part of the Elseworlds annuals. So I was trying to find more information of it. Unfortunately, was one that's not.
He's also, I think it's the Red Scar or Scar of the Bat. One of those. He has a standalone Elseworlds.
Yeah. So
I
couldn't find it.
Pirate
but
Batman.
You might be able to find it there too. But there you have it, guys. Those are all the books that you can actually read every single one of those books in Global Comics. It's there. Some of them are part of the Gold package, some of them are not. But with Gold membership, you're entitled to discounts as well. And a lot of these books are very affordable. So thanks everybody for doing that, for being a part of it. So woohoo! We did it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more comic content. Check out these other videos for even more insight, and I'll see you at the next one. Excelsior.